Hey, what's up YouTube, Skybadger here, and we're back on day 23 of the 100 player fan game series. So if we have a look at the stats, we're exactly where we thought we would be today, just below 500. And that's good, we're sitting in a pretty healthy position, and we are pretty powerful. If we have a look under the most advanced nations, that we can see that we are basically up with the game, around 19%. I'd suspect that all of these guys at 21% are doing pretty good. 26% is extremely up there at this point in the game. If you research the lower tech, you could get there, but I am a little curious about that one. So if we have a look around the world, not much is happening today. Today, basically across all fronts, has been just rebuilding, rearming, and taking us a little bit of time to work in our economies. The only front where there has been action today is in South America, where New England and Quebec have made a lot of ground against the South Africans. So this is where we get to today's topic. We are going in. So this isn't a very good idea, but our intel suggests, based on the troop placements of New England and Quebec, we can quickly slip some troops across and to reinforce these guys over here. We are basically using them as a landing point. They have Quebec and New England occupied. We are sort of allying with them. Well, I'm not. I'm playing a supportive role in this one. We are allying with them for basically their land. Once we have dealt with Quebec and New England, we probably end up killing these guys. Probably. I don't know yet. It's up to King Congo because he's going to have all the land. So basically what's happening at the moment is they're jumping across, and we're going to try to slip some troops in as fast as we can. Now the issue is, while our opponents don't have any naval forces in the region, they have plenty up here. If we have a look around and we double click a few subs, we can see that New England has 29 in the region up there. And if we find Quebec subs, when we double click those, we can see that he has a hell of a lot as well at 28. So if we give them the opportunity, they could easily cut off supplies, and this is where I come in. At this point, our opposition does not have a navy that is strong enough to engage ours. Although it is equipped for stopping troop convoys, it's nothing compared to mine. So when mine finally gets into position, which is going to take the next few days, we'll have sufficient resources in the area to successfully and decisively deal with the submarines. This stack here, which will be sent across to the upper part of the south, consists of, if we just click all the units and get that aircraft carrier and that as well and that, and there's one more aircraft carrier down there that's running a little behind, consists of 3 aircraft carriers, 8 destroyers, 8 submarines once they all get there, 5 cruisers and 3 battleships. By the time they do leave though, I'll also have them equipped with tactical bombers. So the main point of these is to disrupt enemy shipping, and when I can get behind and up far enough, as I will be able to in the northern regions, I'll be able to disrupt shipping as well with my tactical bombers and do a little bit of scouting with my interceptors. But the main reason I send this group up here is because it's closest. It's also one of my few groups at the moment that is fully equipped for the situation, having a complement and division of naval bombers, so it is easily able to hunt out submarines and then dispatch destroyers to deal with them. The trick to this is keep moving and keep scouting. Because our enemy has a lot of submarines, it will be easy to get flanked and to get surrounded. So it is vital that we keep moving, we keep scouting, and we keep hunting those subs. So we're going to go for a typical strategy to dealing with submarines. What we're going to do is, we know our enemy has lots, so we're going to scout them out. We're going to keep resetting that timer on the patrol. We're going to send in destroyers. They're going to bomb them and keep their distance, and then when we're done or we go off, we're just going to run in the other direction. Subs won't be able to catch us, and then regroup and repeat later on. So that's generally how you go about dealing with subs. I'm not too worried because their subs won't put up too much of a fight. Even then, I am grouping another group down here that won't be ready for a few more days, but it's nearly there. We can see that this group I could send out at the moment and it would be effective, but it needs at least another naval bomber, considering how damaged this one is, and a few more cruisers and its battleships. Luckily, Korea gave us these, so these will be joining us in the fight against Quebec as he wanted, and I'm sure he'll be happy about that to see how they put to use. These are slightly upgraded compared to my craft, but by the time they get put into use they'll be the same anyway. So that's what's happening there. So we'll have two battle groups in action. One will be working down here, and it probably won't see more action, so it'll probably end up one group will work up here defending convoys crossing, while I have another group up here disrupting enemy shipping and just bombing troops behind enemy lines. So at this point though, we're going to have a north and a south group. We are also working on building up a third group as well, if we have a look in here. And as you can see at the moment, we're constructing the submarines for the group and a few cruisers because we had some high level naval ports free as well. If we have a look at what that's going to be used for, we're going to have to use that at some point against the Aussies. So the Aussies have been making quite a bit of ground, and like I said last episode, we know our allies Pakistan and Lord Kek are going to move into this area soon and attack it. From what our intel suggests, he does have the full backing of the Aussies, so it would not be surprising if once we cross over that border, Aussies come screaming and absolutely just busting ass into Lord Kek's territory. So we're going to have to be prepared for that. Lord Kek has a navy that is competent, but whether or not he uses it correctly, I don't know. I also have troops in the region, but I don't want to get drawn into another war. So I want to stay out of this one for as long as possible and play just a supporting role. If we come over here, we're going to be engaging with possibly 3 opponents: Quebec, New England, and the Caribbean. And that right there is already a minus 15 on my morale. If I was to then go and fight the Aussies at the same time, I'd be fighting more than 5 people, so that would impose a minus 25%. That is enough to ruin your economy right there, guys. So to avoid it, what we're going to do is we're picking to fight this war, and we'll go in for the Aussies later. Simple as that. We also cleaned up Ethiopia, which I kind of breezed over actually now that I think about it. Only took a day. Pretty easy. We didn't take any losses. In fact, the end casualties were 44,000 to 4,000. We didn't lose any whole troops, though as you can see our Air Force did take a little bit of damage, and some of our troops are a little worse for wear as well if we have a look around. But we didn't lose any whole units, so they will just recover over the next few days. With the resources we gave from this, we have been able to op our espionage and spying operations. As you can see, we now have 20 counter-espionage, 10 intelligence, and 15 military saboteurs. Intelligence isn't too useful, but I just like to know what's happening, so I've gotten it anyway. In the grand scheme of things, you probably want to stick to more military sabotage. Actions speak more than words, and when you see what your opponent's doing, it makes a lot more sense than seeing some words in here. Like, seeing what your opponent's doing with the armies makes a lot more sense than reading all of this. So that's what's happening at the moment, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.